Lazarus being raised from the dead, Osiris's body being put back together. We keep seeing repeated messages in the scrying reading of Isis and Azur, the great dragon, the keeper of doorways and gates. We are seeing and being shown that we must retrieve our inner magical child, our joyful self, and use that joy to empower our oracle abilities through the art of dreaming. We're being asked to seek first the kingdom of God or gods, and that we should not focus on the world, but focus on Isis, focus on Osiris, focus on certain deities who were very powerful. When we learn about these energies and we see through their eyes in the dream world, we may be able to carbon copy some of the power they were able to obtain through our awakening. Our awakening is just beginning, and so we're learning how to see through other people's eyes, but we should really focus on seeing through the eyes of those who are very powerful. So we're going to get into Taoism and Vishnu, and this very magical reading is going to step up our game, so to speak, and really begin to believe that resurrection is possible. This is Mary's art, who Isis is communicating with, not just through her, but through the collective. This is how it works now. We are a collective. Isis is at Mary's heart. Mary has a beautiful rose above her head. There is a female with a parasol umbrella and a rose for her dress and a train at the bottom of her dress. Mary is seated on the fourth step. Her knees are on the third step. Gold is on the second step, and the two soles of her feet are on the second step, and her inner child is on the second step. The doorway that has four corners has a dragon behind it, and Mary is knocking on the door of the dragon. Now, I'm going to read some things for you guys about this dragon, the keeper of doorways, and about Isis. And we're going to look at the written word, of course, but I'm going to tell you a perspective that I get from my abilities as an oracle to help us to merge the unwritten word with the written word. So in the second piece here, we have Mary kneeling down at a tomb, and there's a lower world, and there are levels here. So these readings are all about different worlds, possibly heavens. There's 7 heavens. And as we move up the two soles of her feet, we see a path and a map. Inside the waters of this tomb emerges a child, a baby. And above the tomb is the face of Christ with thousands of souls, living waters inside a bowl, and the eye of what looks like Iris. Iris and Isis are very similar, and I think that these names aren't about people. I think they are about a place, and it is about an energy that did happen, and the reason that they occurred is for us to access it through our oracle abilities and to be able to see through the eyes of Isis, see through the eyes of Christ. And if we look at 1 o'clock, there are people stuck in a net. And this reflects not being stuck or tethered to the net. The Egyptians call it the master of the net. And Jesus said, let us cast our net and be fishermen of men. So to be caught in the net is not a good thing. And let's talk about avoiding that. But first, let's talk about Azur, the dragon. He is the blue dragon. And I love him because he represents the spring season. We spent 5,600 years in winter, and we are now entering into a time of spring. And this is what this dragon represents. He is the guardian of doorways. He's representative of the 4 symbols of the Chinese constellations, astral representations of Wu Feng, Shangdi, And even alchemists know about the representation of being eaten by the dragon, or how when the dragon appears in our lives, the dragon will fight us and eat us. And to be eaten by the dragon is good, because you have now been allowed to enter into the halls of the gods. It doesn't mean that we are entering into the halls of the gods literally. It means that we now have access to ancient knowledge. And these ancient knowledges are awakening us to the art of resurrection. So Azur appears as a door god, and he was represented as on the tomb of a certain person named Wang Hui. In Japan, the Azur dragon is one of the 4 guardian spirits of cities and is believed to protect the city of Kyoto on the east. The west is protected by the white tiger, the north is protected by the black tortoise, and the south is protected by the vermilion bird, and the center is protected by the yellow dragon. Before the entrance of the temple, there is a statue of the dragon, which is said to drink from the waterfall within the temple at nighttime. So this water, this tomb, this doorway, this dragon is very important to you, Mary. To be entering into the doorway of the dragon is to be entering into a hallway of understanding that expands who you are completely, transforming you like changing your colors. There was a tomb that was discovered in 1983 that had a carving of the Azur dragon inside it. So some of these secrets about this dragon are just now being discovered. And it's funny that this particular dragon is showing up in your art. So the dragon is also referred to as the 4 guardians, 4 gods, 4 auspicious beasts. They are the Azur dragon of the east. Each of these creatures is closely associated with a direction and a color. And they also reflect a season. They reflect 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, each given its own individual traits. The origin story and reason for being have really played its role in all religions on earth. And I'm just going to speak plainly. This is a dragon speaking that we have come from the 5,600 years of winter, and we are now entering into spring. This is a time of rebirth and resurrection, plainly. And it does connect us to Isis and Osiris. So here's the 4 symbols of the 4 guardians that represent a time, and how we can use our power within these coins of time to access certain information that we were removed from when we were in our winter stage. Although I am doing research for you, I encourage all of you guys to really merge and dovetail your energy with this dragon, with the look of the dragon, draw the dragons, and begin to feel the dragon within your consciousness and connect with the dragon so that you can tap into some of this magical power and energy that is just ready for you to grab, because it is now available. So in change, there is a supreme polarity. This means there's only 2. And these 2 images in this dual reality mirrors. And when it mirrors, it creates 4. So the 2 bottom is a mirror, and the 2 top is the real world. And this goes to your biofield. Your biofield looks like 2 humps. And that's the illusion part. And the real part is the 2 humps above, which is the letter M. And this goes into all religions. When Jesus talks about being the master of the water, this is MW. The Dragon Gate takes us to Taoism and Buddhism. I love this because I know nothing about it. So we're learning together. So if you guys are listening and you have something to add, or if I misspoke, then add in the comments to let us know what you know. The reality of Taoism is divided into two main traditions, Southern and Northern. The Dragon Gate sect is an offset of the Northern school. Its spiritual descent is traced to the 13th century master of Kui Chang Chun, who was one of the original 7 disciples of Wang Chong Yang. And this means eternal spring. And eternal spring is what we're entering. 5,600 years of the eternal spring, the golden age, and the age of Aquarius, the golden age of Aquarius. So there is the 7th generation Dragon Gate, the 11th generation Dragon Gate. There is the Dragon Convenience Methods, and this is to learn from Buddhism, comply with the precepts, diligently practice inner alchemy arts. This is becoming an oracle, seeing through the eyes of others, not just our own eyes. The ability to tap into dragons and Isis, to tap into that power and bring heaven to earth, bring miracles to us through being a secret seer, a seer who can see through the eyes of Christ, see through the eyes of Isis, and tap into that resurrection ability and be able to incorporate it in our now time. But we have to have the heart of a child. It can't be done with our egotistical, self-important, low self-worth, adult self. It has to be this neutral, happy, joyful child self that can do this. The Dragon Gate refers to the gateway that connects to a higher source. Everyone has a spiritual planetary body. It's a higher source, providing us with the energy to stay alive, think, and act. However, for a Taoist, the Dragon Gate would mean much more than just being connected to our Yun Sin, which is our higher self. Everyone has an ordinary Dragon Gate. And then we go deeper into the Taoist, where we begin to expand and improve that ordinary gate. We often talk about our ethereal body or our energetic body and its macro and microcosmic orbit relationship, which allows us to interact with our higher self. If we are talking about our higher self and our source, the Dragon Gate would be the south pole of our Yun Sun, which is the exit of this spiritual planet and where it pushes and emerges out of for you every day. The Yun Sun is your spiritual planetary body, but it does not locally coexist with you like your energetic body or your soul body. The Yun Sun is far away in space, where the sun is, but in the pre-heaven dimension layer of that location is what we call the Yun Sun, the palace or area. It is not the same as sun like the sunshine. It is Sun. It's like pronounced soon. And I believe that it's connected to Sirius, the Sirius star. Sirius has the word Iris and Isis in it. The Yun Sun resides in the pre-heaven dimension like a layer of nature that existed before ours. We cannot see it, but we can interact with it. It's like something in your memory. So basically, Harry Potter had to get Sirius Black the dog out of Azkaban prison. You have the Sirius star system in the cells of your biofield that has to be activated in order to release it from a prison that's been stuck for 12 years, 12 hours, 12 months, 12 zodiac signs. So there's imagination games you could play to activate that star that you once were connected to. And you imagine yourself standing up in the sky above your head and high above, like where the sun is now. And you see how far it is in terms of distance. And you imagine yourself where the earth is at your feet and you're standing way up there and you're activating something that is in the 7th higher dimensions to connect with it. The top of your head is the entrance to your energy body, and the bottom of your planet is the exit of the Yun Sun, where things go out of the Yun Sun and travel to you. So you can see in your piece how this connects to your art. People traveling out, people going up, lower worlds, higher worlds, layers and dimensions. The North Pole is the exit of the Yun Sun to push things to the post-heaven world, and that is why it is called the Dragon Gate, because it allows the goods to flow from the sky and down into the ocean, the water, which is the metaphor for the soul. The dragon is a metaphor, and this legendary animal is known for flying in the sky, diving into the ocean, and disappearing. In reality, it doesn't matter if this dragon exists, but the metaphor is accurate. and precise for what we want to say. The sky, ground, and human concepts are among the most misunderstood by many people, including those who wrote books and sold them in bookstores. The poor readers are all misled by the word heaven, earth, and human. Sky refers to the source of the resources, the pre-heaven, your Yuan Sun. The ground refers to the container of resources, which is the body. And this is so exciting to me because this is exactly what your art is saying. So what's inside the body is the water under the ground, which refers to your soul. The human is the final result, referring to the physical reality with your flesh, body, and everything that can be seen. When the dragon goes from the sky and swims into the ocean, the Yuan Sun's energy goes out of the dragon gate and into the ocean, becoming part of your soul's energy. What? That's incredible. I love it. These gods are starting to wake up and go, hey, it's been a major misunderstanding. The top of the Yuan Sun is also called the southern sky door because of its location, which is the door that enters the sky, which is the Yuan Sun world or the heaven. But I think there's more to this. I would say that there's something about us learning to access certain energetic deities and their energy, their memories, their magic, so that we can carbon copy that information and bring it to earth, bring it to our physical body. So in this celestial court, we're going to work how the Taoist lineage works, and the celestial court being like the power source and headquarters for the lineage or sect. It's like the resource pool with all the gods and power grouped into one place for every Taoist to access. It's like a gigantic Yuan Sun for everyone in the lineage to cultivate and partake of. What? Learning how to resurrect, learning how to heal the sick, and give hope to all humanity. When anything passes through the exit of the celestial court, it will exit the northern door and enter our world, which then finds its way to you or wherever it was directed by magic. Anything that must come to our world must go through the top of the energy body, which is the southern sky door of the subject. There is a magic that we do, which is called Hoi Tin Moon, opening the sky door. It opens up the top of the energy body of something in this world and beams a line toward the celestial court's dragon gate, which aligns them with and allows the power from the court to enter this subject in the post-heaven world. It's like connecting the Wi-Fi from your router to the server so that data can be transmitted. This is why you have the eye above your head and why the dragon has a square, like a compass and a square. And this is about squaring and aligning with the dragon's gate in order to get the power to manifest the reality of Neverland, where we have an amazing world. So how do you get the dragon gate to open and flow down its power for you? It's very simple. In the article of Yuan Sun, What is God? We talked about how we get things from the Yuan Sun too. In pre-heaven, time and distance does not exist, and your heart and the Yuan Sun are entangled, which means you can trigger the Yuan Sun to respond to you by using your heart. When you want to connect, it will connect. So you basically will it. But there's more to that. We have to recapitulate our past. We can't have unforgiveness. We can't have blocks over our heart. We have to allow our heart to be set free through the inner child. We also have a higher self that will help us with this through a cleaning process, the cleansing process. So if your heart calls to this celestial court, imagine it's like crystals and it's magical and it goes bring, or like the Teo heart is your heart with a Teo inside. You know a person by the fruit of their tree, and somebody who has the Teo heart has the heart of a child. And it doesn't mean that the child is ignorant or dumb or misled. It means that this person chooses to be innocent and pure and magical, living in the moment, not in tomorrow or yesterday, but also highly intelligent. It's a time of studying. All of us, you guys, everyone should be studying right now. Studying what? Taoism, Buddhism, pre-heaven, heaven, understanding these gods. Jesus was a place. Ya, moon, darkness. Shua, sun, soon. The interpretation of the word of God was interpreted by liars, vipers, and children of hell. Jesus even said so. So for people who have been stuck mentally in a dogmatic religion, the 7 spirits of God that are in the Bible govern the 7 religions, and we need to come together and understand that these gods aren't people. They're places and energies of time that open gates so that we can do powerful things where Jesus said we can raise the dead and be as powerful as him. And if you believe it, then why aren't we doing it? So we need to practice, and I promise to practice too. Pinky promise. So faith is demonstrated by physical action. Action is a prayer. Clean your house, clean your car, clean your relationships, clean your beliefs, clean your emotions, clean your adult seriousness, and replace it with silliness and joy. Clean your diet. Your holy temple is your body. And begin to find pure magic and joy by going out in the woods and ignoring all the jerk world and all the jerk adult heads and all the people shaming and blaming the world. Let the dead bury the dead. Go and seek your gold, which is your soul, which is your child. Bring that child up and resurrect and access like Wi-Fi. Siri spelled backwards is Iris. Iris and Isis. It's like so awesome. If your Teo heart is good and you want that power, the dragon gate will open for you. It's that simple. Many people have a lack of faith because they have been brainwashed and programmed that our power is limited and that nothing is in our favor. District 12, where nothing is in your favor. Now, we're going to talk about sigils when it comes to that parasol umbrella. So the umbrella is connected to the sigil of Jupiter. Sigils are numerology that are truth, and they form a square. And this square is like the doorway of the gate of the dragon. And when we get into magical squares and numerology, or if you get into scrying, you'll begin to see symbols like an umbrella as a communication of a sigil, but also a communication of ancient gods like Vishnu. And it is an expression for us to begin to study Vishnu and this androgynous blue-skinned being that is both male and female, and is connected to learning how to transmute negative energy in this world, like a mushroom. And we're also going to understand the umbrella or the parasol as the body of Newt. Anytime you see an umbrella, it means you are in a protected area underneath the body of a certain energetic god or deity that is teaching us and protecting us until or if we raise our frequency and our energy and can sustain the frequency above that body, entering into the halls or the body of another god that teaches us when we are ready. So to break through the parasol, to break through the body of Newt, and to go above the rainbow is what Dorothy did. To fly like a pretty little bluebird above the rainbow. Harry Potter went to Hogwarts, which was above the Muggles. And when we go above these bodies, we've entered into the Ark, or the Egyptian Book of Gates, and we go through a process of the black raven and the white raven through a purification to finally find our way home. And home is a place where things begin working in our favor because we have unlocked doorways that give us knowledge that helps us to access ancient powers, to help us navigate the underworlds and walk a stairway up to the upper worlds where we begin to have a divine relationship with energies that are so excited that we are birthed and resurrected into their world, saying, welcome. Do you have the heart of a child? Wonderful. That's the money that you offer. Do you have your 2 soles, the 2 bottom parts of your feet? You are no longer under the umbrella. You are now above the umbrella. You don't need the protection of the reality you came from anymore. Seek first the kingdom of God with that innocent heart of a child. Keep your heart unblocked. You are now safe. And put jingle bells on your shoes and wear rose essential oil and be that magical person that you've always secretly always wanted to be. So the parasol is called the Shatra, and it is another Buddhist or Hinduism symbol, and it's called the precious parasol or the sacred umbrella. It's the symbol of kings. What? And so you have some really strong energies in your reading, but guess what? Your reading blesses everyone. That's how it works now. If I'm powerful, you guys can access my mind and become powerful too. That's why Jesus said, if you believe me, you can be as powerful as me. So access Isis, access the dragon, access Vishnu, connect with them like Wi-Fi. And they will offer you answers and power that will bless you. And everyone will look at you and go, how come you're so happy and you're living in this magical happy world? And I'm over here swimming, with the fishes. Because it takes work to climb up this hill. And so, yeah, it does take work. So this Shatra for me, is a place that you've left behind. However, the symbol of the Shatra or the umbrella can be used as a magical, physical protection. So go buy a white umbrella. It represents spiritual protection, and it's placed above the head of an important deity. To be beneath the Shatra is to be the center of the universe. This is why some consider the Shatra as a mobile temple. Interesting. Isn't it funny that the Dragon's Gate has a center dragon, like the center Shatra umbrella? In Hindu mythology, the Shatra is the insignia of Varuna. It is seen as the embodiment of royalty and kingship. Various Hindu gods are depicted with the Shatra. Vishnu gave the white parasol as insignia of royalty to Kamasavara, one of the god Shiva's many forms. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I probably didn't. In Indian cultures, only high dignitaries were allowed to use the umbrella. It was employed to symbolize its protective qualities, since a parasol or umbrella is supposed to shield or protect one from the heat of the sun. As time passed by, the Shatra's symbolical meaning came to denote general protection against defilements, against spiritual decline. A defilement could be a sin against yourself, something that you believe that isn't true, something that other people are telling you or pushing upon you that just isn't true, limiting your power. So they say that this umbrella is a symbol that protects you from evil forces. This makes me want to carry a Shatra umbrella around with me everywhere I go. Now you know why so many umbrellas are sold in the East. They actually have a protective ability, almost like magic. The Shatra is connected to the sacred medicinal and hallucinogenic mushrooms of the Himalayas. So it is about using, maybe mushrooms to connect with doorways or gods or access gods where you may have a mental block. That's up to you and your higher self. It also represents the canopy of the sky, symbolizing the element ether, and is the vastness and unfolding of space. It is the protective quality of Sahasrara, or the crown chakra. So buy yourself a glittering white umbrella, and it's supposed to cripple your foe by its look. What? I'm totally going to do this. So this is what the umbrella actually looks like, that is held by Vishnu. And he holds it on his little finger right there. And I love it. Let's talk about accessing our inner child. And I'm actually going to make a video, a meditation video to access our inner child, because it'll help me. It'll help everyone eventually. Your inner child is a powerful part of your mind, your friendly, joyful, emotional, free, playful side. It represents the child you used to be that needed love and comfort, and it combines your most basic emotions, the sensitivity and the creativity that you were born with and that you might have suppressed while growing up from pain, sufferings, shock, trauma, boring world, studying things that mean nothing, and working for corporations day in and day out. The inner child is the human's childlike aspect, and it draws from everything that you have learned and experienced as a kid before puberty. This inner child signifies a semi-independent unit that subordinates to your conscious mind, and being aware of it can help you improve your life. Your inner child is your essence, the aspect of your awareness that is naturally innocent, uncomplicated, and playful. I always like to think of Pippi Longstocking, Strawberry Shortcake. I love those childlike characters. To discover your inner child, we have to balance our life and bring that inner child up to our magical, highly intelligent mind self. So there comes a precipice when Spirit says, okay, you're at a time when it's okay to go back and get your inner child. You have healed. You've gone back. You've done the work. So let's go do that. So stop restricting your actions. Let yourself explore new activities and feelings. Invite novelty into your life. Enjoy the freedom from regular constraints. Like what? Like go ahead and get some glow-in-the-dark fabric paint from Walmart and paint your shoes glow in the dark. Get a glittery parasol and wear it out in public. Write a book. Write a book that writes about the world that your inner child would have loved to have had if you had the power to create it. Explore your imagination. Allow yourself to continually be imaginative, both in your actions and thinking. And actually, this is alchemy. Alchemy is take your most imaginative and passionate idea and put it to work. And this is a prayer. And this prayer is your magic. So you like making things. I like making things. We're going to make Hogwarts. We're going to make amazing things. And these amazing things are going to be prayers, and they're going to be amulets of power, and they are going to be a reflection of voices that we received from God, from higher realms, and it will amaze ourselves and everyone else around us. Enhance your listening skills. Begin to know that God speaks through people, media, books, the weather, birds, animals, everywhere around you now. You are protected under that umbrella, and God is talking to you. Your higher self is talking to you. Your Wi-Fi is now connected to Siri, which is the word Iris, which is Isis, which is Sirius. And yeah, now you have power. Enhance or embrace your spirit. Pause to laugh and smile. I say listen to comedy. What I used to do is, I know this sounds crazy, but I was so abused as a child. I turned that abuse into comedy. Do you know how healing it is to make fun of the trauma? It's terrible. Yeah, I know it's terrible to make fun of it, but at the same time, when you can take pain and turn it into joy, expecto patronum, take the spider and put roller skates on him, take the ugly snake, turn him into a balloon, taking your pain and turning it into something funny, oh my gosh. You have now broken the glass of pain forever. Engage with the world now that you have your powerful mind and your powerful inner child, the heart and the mind in divine union. Your higher self, spirit and flesh, finally balanced and at peace, harmonious. And I just feel chills all over my body right now. Bringing out your inner child, nurturing it and making it conscious. Protecting it, being the mother of it. Let it make mistakes. As you allow spirit to speak through your voice and you help people and you heal people and you become the powerful person you are meant to be, maybe raising the dead, resurrecting people, then you have become a master of your biofield. You are now electromagnetism. where we were polarized by electro. That's the physical body. It's considered male, the written word. And then magnetism is the invisible world. Wi-Fi, God, doorways, dragons, accessing invisible voices, being the remote viewer, seeing through the eyes of ancient gods. They left magic in specific timelines and doorways just for us to access it. Why did Jesus just only raise Lazarus from the dead? It was so that he did it in a timeline so that those of us who could remote view it through our Wi-Fi, through our Siri, through our Iris, could access it and see it and do it. And I'm going to try it eventually. Trust your inner child, but more importantly, trust the process, because we may say, I want to heal the sick, raise the dead, but the process of accessing that information and bringing that into our current reality may involve cleaning. It may involve creating a piece of art. It may involve inverting sound that moves out like 528 hertz, inverting it, making it go backwards. And we may have to study about certain things before it actually takes fruition. We are mirrors, and the entire world is made up of people who are lower frequency, higher frequency, ignorant or knowledgeable, afraid or faithful, fearful or joyful. When our mirror is facing people who are dark because of lack of knowledge, we could actually mirror them. And so learning how to transmute and seek first the kingdom of God, not this world, helps us to encourage the illumination and light to make us shine bright like a star, releasing Sirius Black, the dog from Azkaban prison within the cells of our body, and releasing God out of our hands, our mouth, and our feet. And so, yeah, it's a balancing act, but fight the loneliness. It does seem lonely sometimes. It does. I'm telling you, I've looked around the world yesterday. It seemed like everything. Walk into a mall. It feels like you've walked into the world of the dead. It's just awful. I feel like we're in a twilight zone sometimes. It's like, what has happened with the world? But stick with those of us who are awakening and keep hearing that message and these promises of hope, and keep your faith and keep your light lit at this time. Really study Isis. Isis, Osiris, the god Ra and the god Ar from Armenia. So Isis brought back to life Osiris, and she was one of the most magical deities. But she isn't she. She represents the invisible doorway, a master who manifested here only simply to leave a spell in a timeline that we can access when we're ready. And since Mary, Isis, has come into your art, Vishnu has come into your art, and the dragon, then this is telling you that it's time for you to go ahead and unlock the door and access it. However, you need to go to that number 2 stairway, and your gold, which is the grid of life design, is you imagining the grid of life design over your head. It's a tetrahedron. It's fire. Get into sacred geometry. And that is the gold sacks. The 2 gold sacks are your 2 souls and the little child that needs to be brought up through your body, through the lower realms, and give them the freedom to see the higher worlds. So this sky goddess is a metaphor for these higher realms. The northern star, like for Christmas, is the 7th heaven. And when we access the 7th heaven, then Santa Claus, which is Saturn, brings us a gift down our chimney. That is the head of our crown chakra, a gift of information. so that we can fly and believe in magic like a flying reindeer. And we have the ability to hear the voice of the higher ones and have faith that there is no death, that we can live forever if we persist in all efforts and accentuate that Teo heart, which Jesus says the same words. It's just different. He says, living waters will pour from your heart. Follow the water bearer. That's the age of Aquarius, the golden age, the golden coins. So notice how there were these women that had wings that are called kites. And they were searching for the dead. So you have these wings in your art, and these wings were called kites. So this is something you should research, not because you want to have this knowledge memorized in your brain. No, to unlock it out of your heart, to access their energy like a Wi-Fi and connect with their energy, seeking first the kingdom of the sky, God, to bring their powerful magical abilities to you. It's not about worshiping these energies. It's about accessing them like Wi-Fi from your heart chakra. So Isis and that inner child and the gold and the choo-choo train is you taking your energy and raising your dimension through the dimensional train to Hogwarts. The rose is about the 144,000, and your Merkaba is the number 144. The Merkaba is flesh and spirit merged divinely. You imagining the Merkaba, and this Merkaba is your chariot of fire that will take you to the realm of the gods so that you can access information from the higher realms and bring it to earth, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and this bread is information that comes from a magical world where miracles like raising Lazarus from the dead exists. Yes, we can get trapped in the net. How do you escape the net? Well, net is a mirror. You do not mirror those who are ignorant. You mirror enlightened ones. So it's a ruthless time where you let go of those that you feel sorry for because they just don't see the light. It's not for them. So you're going to have to leave them. And I know it's sad. I have to leave many people who are so into dogmatic religions. They judge me as being evil and a sorcerer and a witch and all this stuff. And I'm sorry. But I have faith that what I'm learning is what Christ said, is the 7 religions are inclusive of the 7 spirits of God, and we should study all of it. What is the purpose of the Holy Spirit, which is the Spirit of truth? If all of our truth and all of the truths are in a book, not all truths come from a book. They come from the invisible realm. This invisible realm is the magnetic mother, the Mary Magdalene, the Isis, the Iris, the goddess of the rainbow. And we are going to raise the dead, you guys. Have faith in it now. Don't believe in the lies. Don't look at YouTube and TikTok and other media sources and let them tell you how terrible the world is. So what? Everyone's been tied up, taken away, and held for ransom. We've all had to live like a refugee. Now it's time to live like a miraculous, magical person who says, expecto Patronum. Love you guys. If you would like a reading, go to forestfairy.com.
Why did Peter Pan need Tinkerbell? Because Peter Pan could not fly without her. Tinkerbell is the one who has the power to access the minds of the ancient past. She's the invisible goddess, the Holy Spirit, the magnetism to your electricity. She is more powerful than you, but neither of you can operate without each other. Let's go find your Tinkerbell. And she will help you to see